So I am still working on the movement system, the motion controller. However, I just wanted to do a little update here because uh, I wanted to get a sense for scale and test the movement for the Heretic 2 and using the actual levels, and I was, or at least similar levels, because I wanted to do the remake. And so I was thinking, well, I can go into the game and play it and then try to kind of map it out in my mind and then recreate it, but it would be a whole lot easier if I could just load the original file in Unity and kind of use that as the block out and then go and replace it with HD models. And so there isn't anything, as far as I know, immediately available, or else I wouldn't have done it. But I spent all night writing this import tool. I can import the maps from Heretic, and so this is the first level, the docks. I have a problem with the UV calculations that I still need to correct. But here's the level layout, and I know where the triggers are, so that's pretty handy. It's not including like the other brush door entities, fires, and the tables missing all the breakable things. But the layout of the level is step one, and so now in Unity I can use that to replace everything with high definition, and then also have a good sense of scale. And in a little bit I'll plop the character in, put some colliders on this, and even in this low resolution environment I can run around with my new character controller and kind of test that things work the same. So the code's a little bit messy and whatnot, but and I can open up the other level that I've imported so far. So you can see the tutorial level also, which I think might be the only one that I've shown so far. The original Quake has, I mean not Quake, Heretic 2, which is, it uses the Quake 2 engine. So surprisingly there are a bunch of Skybox. There are a bunch of importers for Quake 1. There's one for Quake 3, but not Quake 2 for some reason, or Heretic 2. So it took a little bit of digging around on the internet because it's so old, and the pages that are available from yesteryear are gone or in archive. You have to find various Google archives. So it's a little tricky, but I got it to work, and just need to, like I said, fix those UVs, and I could work on adding the entities and things like that too, like the lights and locations of all the entities from the mapping. But anyway, the code's a little messy, but if you leave a comment below that you want it, I will work on cleaning it up and put it on GitHub if anybody wants to be able to import BSP files themselves. Right now it puts the BSP file in this scriptable object, which you can see it's parsed the BSP file. Here's the list of the entities, so I just have to parse through here, and I could create game objects with these class names on them. Obviously there wouldn't be matching scripts or whatever. And then the edges and vertices and faces and on the texture info and everything that it uses. And then I have a little button here that will create a game object in the scene and put all this together. And also when it imports, it goes out and reads the M8 files, converts them into textures. There's also a scriptable object for those, but it's not totally necessary. But this is the parsing of the M8 file, which is the bitmap file for the Quake 2, or well, the Heretic 2. Quake 2 used WAL, but I think the format's similar. And then I create a texture out of that, so you can see this button. Also, I think I may have done the textures upside down because I was reading that Unity is bottom to top instead of top to bottom, and I wrote them top to bottom, so I think I need to fix that. So if anybody wants this, then I'll do that beforehand. And when you look at some of these, it looks like that black line seems like it would probably be on the bottom. Most of the textures from Heretic 2 anyway are just 64 by 64. But they have these bitmap resolutions 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. But I only bothered making the texture for the biggest one because I figured 64 by 64 is nothing nowadays, so why bother with any of these small blurry things that they would be. And then I automatically make materials to go with it also. Standard PBR for that little bitmap. Oh, and then the objects, I create a mesh for each material, so there's fewer draw calls. There's just one per material. And there's probably a way to use a texture array and figure all that out, but I haven't done that. So we could probably put, when they're 64 by 64, I could probably pack a bunch of them onto one and reduce the draw calls even further. However, I didn't do that. So each texture actually ends up being a single model, just the way I did it. In the BSP file, they're stored as faces, single faces only, with the UV information, and so I could have had a bunch of faces, but I merged them all into the one mesh here. So anyway, I think this is going to help me in the HD remaster, remake, fan remake thing for Heretic 2, because this is going to be a lot easier right here in Unity. I can just wrap everything in Pro Builder objects and update the thing, or use some assets to replace. That's all for now. I'll update more as things progress. Thanks for watching.